Hello, my name is Caden. This is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. After a justified shooting, what are you going to do? Everyone trains for pulling the trigger. A lot of you guys are training to pull the trigger, but after that fact, what really happens? Again, I'm going to be giving some advice. I am not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be. I don't want to be. I have respect for my life. Okay. So the information I'm going to be giving you is for information only. Now, when we're going through this, you got to realize your state may be different. I'm going by a little bit more of a Minnesota and the Four Pillars where they do not have a stand your ground. If you do have a stand your ground, if you do live in a stand your ground state, you may need to give out a little bit of information to warrant, because if you just shut up, they're more than likely, my understanding is that they're more than likely going to put you in handcuffs and sort everything out from there. Okay, what I do is I have a lawyer that I have their business card on, and they have given me several tools that will help help you in the long run. Let's face it, police officers interview people every day. Their skills of interview and the questions that they ask you will almost always lead you down a path where it is going to be worse for you. Okay. They could ask leading questions, and if you do not know how or why they are leading you down that path, you can be admitting to things that never happened. You're going to be nervous. Human beings, for the most part, want to be honest to an authority figure, especially in a situation where it was justified and you're not the bad guy. It just happens. So when you're dealing with these police officers, they're better at their game than you are. They play their game every single day for the most part, and a good, honest citizen rarely has contact with police officers, so they're not versed on how and what to say and how they use words and positions to manipulate you into a position that you know you don't deserve to be there. Now, it's also when you are talking with the police officer, sometimes good people make minor lies or minor inaccuracies that over a time may prove you to be a liar. Now, if you're willing to lie about a little thing, do you think that they're going to believe the big truth when you did a little lie they caught you? When you're in a stand your ground state, you're going to have to give them something. I was afraid for my life. Again, I am not a lawyer, but these are generally the points that you need to do. I was afraid for my life. I thought I was going to die, or great bodily harm, or someone else's great bodily harm. I'm a little nervous right now. Can I go home? That kind of a thing. Now, when you're in a four-pillar state where you're going to be handcuffed and you will be going to jail and get bailed out, because the presumption is that you shot someone and you were wrong for doing so. Now, this is what the lawyer has had on the card. Assertion of rights. I refuse to speak to you other than to identify myself until I consult with my attorney. If I'm not under arrest, I'd like to leave. And if I am free to leave, please let me immediately do that. It's really small lettering, so it's like maybe I should blow this up. That I may go out about my business. If you're investigating an impaired driving offense, I wish to remain silent and refuse to answer any of your questions. I refuse to do any field sobriety test other than the portable breath test, which I will consent to only upon demand that you do so. If you request an evidentiary chemical test, I demand to consult my attorney beforehand. I also demand that I be allowed to arrange any additional and independent chemical test. I refuse to consent to any search of these premise or other premises under my control or in which I may have a possessory or privacy interest, including but not limited to my vehicle, my body, or my effects. People are going to, when you're originally listening to that, alcohol is going to be a big thing, because if you do have any alcohol in your blood, it's going to be working against you. You really need to figure out in your life, it's either you are going to be concealed carry or you're going to drink. Don't do both, because if something happens and it somehow impairs your judgment, you're going to be screwed. So when you're dealing with this kind of stuff, operate way on the safety line. Way on the safety line. So what that is when you're in a restaurant or bar, you are not drinking alcohol while you're carrying. If you want to drink, if you're on this side of the line, secure your weapon in your car. Okay? So that is why that particular line is in here. And then it goes, the only statements to the police after the 5 points on the other side. Let me do the 5 points. My name is, I live at, I was attacked by that person, by the person that ran in that direction, that kind of thing. There is the evidence, point out anything. One thing that when you're dealing with, one thing about a four-pillar state, which really aggravates me to the nth degree, is that once you have stopped the threat and he's no longer the threat, you're really required to skedaddle out of there, not to assess the situation, but then the lawyer wants you to protect the evidence. Let's just say that your attacker had the gun, you dropped the person, you left the scene, which the four pillars states that you should really do, but the gun is sitting there. Somebody else comes, his compadre picks up the gun and leaves. And by the police get there, there's no gun. How are you going to protect the evidence? So one of the things that you're trying to do is you need to protect the evidence. Also identify witnesses, point them out, that kind of thing. I'm not going to be getting into what to say, but the worst thing that people do is stop or I will shoot, or stop or I will kill you. You know what the witness says? The witness will hear that and say, he said, I will kill you. You need to get away from verbiage that can be misconstrued. Like, stop, don't hurt me. How is that going to be confused to stop or I will kill you? These are the little things that you need to take a look at and make you aware that anybody can shoot. Anybody can do it. You need to plan for after the attack. Okay? If you have to call 911, my name is blah. I need to report an attack, a possible attack at an address. The individual give a brief description of the attacker, then ran off and he drove that way. I do have a permit to carry a firearm and did expose my firearm to the attacker, but I did or did not use it. I've called my attorney and he will contact you to schedule a time to make a statement. That is key. You are asserting your rights already, okay? And then, because what you tell the police officer and then what you reflect on what you tell the police officer could change. And any inconsistency in what you are saying may make you look like a liar, even though that you are on the right side. Be prepared to answer the questions related to the alleged attacker on your contact information, but do not answer any questions about your actions. Be prepared to hang up if their questions get persistent. And then it also has 911 after defending yourself, who you need to call. It's basically the same thing. Again, this statement is going to be more important than any handgun training, especially if you have a family that is relying upon you financially not to be going to jail. I want my lawyer present before I answer any questions, and until then I invoke my right to remain silent. I do not consent to a search of my person or my property. Take the time to learn this stuff. Defending your home, your person, your family is more than pulling the trigger. It's more than deciding what make and model a gun that you should have. It is more important than what platform you should use. I can't express this enough. My name is Caden. This is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. I hope